You need to shut the fuck up.
Hey, motherfuckers. This is Minx. Suck my balls.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Hi, Lieutenant. How are you doing? Aw, did you find your land nav point, Lieutenant? Good job, Lieutenant. You get a
Expert Action Badge.
put on your uniform right,
Expert Action Badge.
show up to work on time,
Expert Action Badge.
qualify on your weapon,
Expert Action Badge. Badge of Action.
find your guidon.
Expert Action Badge.
That's right, just doing your normal warrior task and drills, you get a
Expert Action Badge.
Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
Shit in a bag, Pogue. Badge of Action. The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio. Action Badge.
This is Randy Couture, and you're listening to WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
How you feeling there, Mac?
Good enough to fuck your mother!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Freedom. I'm your host, Minx, and it is I almost said Thursday. Holy shit. It's Friday. April 27th, 2018. Hello. I'm joined by the one and only best stepdad ever, Kaz.
What's going on, everybody?
Hi.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. How was work?
Sucked. Well, work was fine. Work was good. Work's always good.
But then why did you say that it sucked at first?
Because buying houses sucks
Oh.
until it works out. It sucks up until the point that it works out. And then it's all.
And then it's okay?
And then it's fine.
Oh. Nice. I've never gone through it, but, maybe one day. Oh, hello, Joe. Friggin'. I was not feeling good. I was up all night with my stomach acting up, so I did not work today.
Would you go eat something bad or?
I'm not sure. So, and truth be told, I've been battling a headache for the last 2.5 days. And it's still here. No, sorry. I've been battling a headache since Tuesday night. I got a really, really bad headache in the middle of my show on Tuesday, and it has not left. So
Is this migraine worthy or is this just an annoying ass headache?
It's just an annoying. It's not a migraine per se. Like I get migraines a lot, but it's not like that. Like I obviously, I'm here, so I'm not having any sort of sensitivity to light or noise or smell, like I do with a migraine. But it's just this constant feeling of like a red hot knife being shoved into the side of my head. It's a lot of fun.
How long's this been going on?
Since Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Have I seen a doctor about it? No, I have not.
You don't suppose maybe a disembodied spirit attached itself to you
No.
and is poking you actually with a red hot poker in the back of the head?
No.
Okay. Well, I hope you feel better soon.
Aw, thank you. I hope so too. But yeah, it's been one hell of a week. Dude, fucking the news this morning was just going off because of Korea. Or I should say the Koreas.
The Koreas, the Moon and the Kim got together.
It's
Talk about history. Dude, this is history right now.
Right? And I just want to say, no one from like American media has said anything about this happening because of President Donald Trump.
What's their spin? I have seen absolutely no news today. What is their spin? Well, I guess these guys just got tired of fighting for, a bunch of years. So
a lot of it has been, oh, well, this was just going to happen eventually. And it's like, was it really? Because, the Bushes, Reagan, fucking the Clinton administration, the Obama administration, none of any of the predecessors since, the Korean War happened.
The Kennedy administration, the Johnson administration, the Nixon administration,
Carter administration, no one's been able to get this far until now.
That's improper.
But, but yeah, if you think about it, if this had happened during the Obama administration, they'd put his ass in for another Nobel Peace Prize.
Okay, another one.
Yes, another one, because let's remember, for some reason, he got a Nobel Peace Prize. For some fucking reason. I don't understand why.
For being the first black African American president.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah, the first African American president. And I think they threw some other stuff in there. Or bullet points.
A couple more.
It was like a really well-written NCOER, and they said, oh.
1 and 1. Promote ahead of peers.
Right.
But only because he's the first black one. That's the only reason. Freaking, oh my God. But yeah, no, but it's almost sad how the South Korean government is crediting this summit that has taken place technically, last night for us.
Yeah.
South Korea is crediting President Trump for the success of this summit and the success of everything that has happened.
I think President Trump set the situations up to be correct for this to happen.
Yes, I do too.
I think he set the stage, and then this happened. Had it been just a wavering, a beta male president or someone who, even a President Clinton would be like, oh, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, we'll give you this. Trump's like, you're not getting shit. And we'll bomb the crap out of you.
Right? Test us, motherfucker.
And he means what he says. He backs up his words with action.
He completely does. And that's one of the best things about him. Like, love him or hate him. Like, he fucking sticks by what he says.
There's really been no surprises with the guy.
Right? Like, he says something, you're like, like, you guys better do what he says because, like, he's going to do what he says. Like, it's in the best interest for everybody to just do what he says.
Right.
But, yeah, so I actually watched the procession live this morning at, like, I don't fucking know what time it was. I think like 6 something. Because I was awake. And it was really interesting watching and then like rewatching the videos of it when the North Koreans came down from their side of the DMZ, and how coming down from that one building down all those steps, Kim Jong-un was completely surrounded by security detail advisors, military advisors. His sister was right there with him, and which was really important because I guess for a long time a lot of people have speculated on how involved and how important his sister is in the regime. And with this summit, she was right there by his side the entire time. And was right there next to him as he and President Moon were signing this declaration together. So that really kind of erases any doubts. I guess that you could say that, there's any sort of strife between, sibling rivalry or strife between brother and sister. Like she's obviously held in a high accord with him and is in a huge position of power.
Kim Jong-un has such an opportunity right now to make his country 100 times what it ever was.
Oh, yeah.
There's still that, that in the back of my head going, he's up to something.
Yes.
I hope not. I really hope not.
Do you think, though, that could just be due to Western propaganda?
I don't think so. I think it's going. I'm basing that off of their track record as a country, not so much Kim Jong-un, just as a political. All of their political leadership, in my memory, has been, we're gonna do. I do what I want.
So Romery.
But I really hope. I mean, he's young enough. He's young enough to have a very long life as their leader.
Yes.
And I mean, he would be a hero in his country if he made amends and maybe became more not so much democratic, but give their people some freedom, man. Give them a taste of freedom.
Like, just the I think the amount of I think the right word would be shell shock their citizens are going to go through.
Oh my gosh, yes.
When the borders do open up, and there is going to be that reunification of the entire peninsula, because part of the agreement, the accord that was signed today by both of them, was reuniting families and making sure that, those that had defected to the South were able to reunite with their family that were still up in the North.
If they're still alive.
Yeah, exactly. If they're still alive. It's a great point. So, but no, it was a pretty long accord. And I've got it here.
I mean, baby steps. I mean, you can't just say, Moon and Kim shook hands, and now everyone's going to be in Itaewon tonight drinking soju.
True. Yeah.
This is going to take probably years.
But speaking of, so when Kim Jong-un and President Moon met at the DMZ, something that I really noticed when I was kept seeing this video over and over again is that Kim Jong-un was very, very aware of where all the cameras were, and would keep kind of like looking at them to see if they were capturing everything, and making sure that they were seeing everything that was going down. And I think with him taking President Moon's hand and then bringing him back into the north side of the border was almost like on one hand, I want to say it was a diplomatic move, but on the other hand, it could have been seen as a very dominant power play.
So Kim brought him over to the north?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
For a couple seconds. Like they held hands, and then he physically brought President Moon over the border into North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
For a little bit.
I guess some tinfoil folks might have a field day with that, because the Asians and Koreans especially are very into symbology.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing, you know, that we as Americans, especially me as an American, and having never been to Korea, I don't know their culture. I do know that Asians in particular are huge on respect, especially respect to elders. And President Moon is a lot older than Kim Jong-un. So, and respecting positions of authority and whatnot. So again, I don't know if it was a diplomatic, respectful thing where he was like, hey, since you are where Kim Jong-un is like, hey, since you are welcoming me into South Korea for this peace talk, I am going to return the favor and welcome you into North Korea for a little bit to let you know, hey, you can come here as well. Or if it was a dominance play where it's like, you can only come over here if you're with me type of thing.
That's an interesting analysis you have. I haven't seen any of it. I mean, I was listening to Sergeant's Time last night, and this is when it was happening, and it was like around 9 o'clock Korean time in the AM. And all this stuff was going down, and I went to sleep, and I got up, went to work. I've just been totally disconnected from media today.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. So this declaration at the North and South Korean summit, it's the two leaders solemnly declared before 80 million Korean people and the whole world that there will be no more war on the Korean Peninsula, and thus a new era of peace has begun. The two leaders sharing the firm commitment to bring a swift end to the Cold War relic of long-standing division and confrontation to boldly approach a new era of national reconciliation, peace, and prosperity, and to improve and cultivate inter-Korean relations on a more active manner, declare that the historic site of Panmunjom as follows. So basically, North and South Korea will reconnect the blood relations of the people and bring forward the future of co-prosperity and unification. And then it's like broken down a little bit more from that. South and North Korea will make joint efforts to alleviate the acute military tension and practically eliminate the danger of war on the Korean Peninsula. South and North Korea agreed to completely cease all hostile acts against each other in every domain, including land, air, and sea, that are the sources of military tension and conflict.
What about cyber?
It does not say cyber. But you forget, North Korea doesn't really have internet. Like, their government does, but their people don't. Which is going to be a huge, again, shell shock thing for the North Korean people. Like, oh yeah, here's a whole wealth load of information that you've missed out on for the last 65 years.
That entire country is going to be listening to Gangnam Style.
Right? And K-pop.
And K-pop.
In this vein, the two sides agreed to transform the DMZ into a peace zone and a genuine stance by ceasing, as of 1 May of this year, all hostile acts and eliminating their means, including broadcasting through loudspeakers and distribution of leaflets in the area along the DMZ, or the military demarcation line. South and North Korea agreed to devise a practical scheme to turn the areas around the northern limit line in the West Sea to a maritime peace zone in order to prevent accidental military clashes and guarantee safe fishing activities.
Awesome.
And then South and North Korea will actively cooperate to establish a permanent and solid peace regime on the Korean Peninsula, bringing an end to the current unactual state of armistice and establishing a robust peace regime on the Korean Peninsula in a historical mission that must not be delayed any further.
I'm wondering, and still, and there's that thing in the back of my head. I'm wondering what the motivation is for North Korea.
I actually saw something about that. The motivation for North Korea is that it, like, honestly, like its country is pretty much bankrupt, right? Their people are starving. Kim Jong-un literally has no other choice but to do this if he is to save his country.
I believe that.
So,
I've got good thoughts, man. I really hope.
I do too, and I really hope. I'm super optimistic about this. Both sides seem, in appearance, to be genuine about this, especially given that even China has confirmed that the nuclear test site up in northern North Korea, along the Chinese border, has been shut down.
Is that because it collapsed?
Geologists say it's collapsed, but other stories from different sources are saying that it just has been closed down.
Okay.
But I think that is to save face. But I think it's a little column A, little column B.
Okay.
In all honesty, I think it is. I think it's one hand, it's partially because it collapsed, and then two, Kim Jong-un understands. I think he's finally understanding that, if he wants to help save his country, his dying country, he's going to have to do something to get help from the outside.
I'm glad he's taking this route, because he could have taken this route to rebuild North Korea, and that's by attacking South Korea or attacking an ally of Western society,
like Japan.
Because if he would have launched a bunch of rockets, and then North Korea would have been even more messed up than they already are. And then what do you do after war? You have a rebuilding campaign.
Yeah.
He had that was a choice, and now he's taking this choice.
So
I'm happy.
Yes, I am too. So there's another article I found on this, and it was so again, it's South Korea. South Korea's foreign minister credits President Trump for opening the door for talks with North Korea.
There you go.
And apparently a lot of other countries are doing the same. But our media is silent on it. Because, Trump is, in their minds, literally Hitler, and was literally going to start World War III.
I mean, it's shocking to me that the United States media hasn't credited President Trump of actually setting the table, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
It doesn't really surprise me.
So South Korea's foreign minister has said she believes Donald Trump is largely responsible for bringing North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to the negotiation table. There we go. I know how to read. Speaking ahead of Friday's historic summit between the leaders of the Koreas, Kang Kwang-wha, there we go, told CNN that the U.S. president has played a significant role in bringing the two sides together. She said, clearly credit goes to President Trump. He's been determined to come to grips with this from day one. Kim will become the first North Korean leader to cross the DMZ between North and South Korea on Friday for the talks with South Korean President Moon. President Trump is expected to meet with Kim Jong-un either in May or June of this year. Kang told Amanpour that the what is that word? Diente? I don't know. Was unexpected. I think we're all surprised. Obviously, pleasantly surprised. I think by all indications, we are headed towards a very successful summit between my president and Chairman Kim tomorrow. She says that Moon's determination also played a role in the thaw. In her analysis, the combination of tough rhetoric and economic and travel sanctions were instrumental. So
I wonder how the history books are going to record this.
I'm not sure. That's going to be very, very interesting, though.
Because there was a history book that was under scrutiny because a high school junior out of Minnesota came out and said that, hey, this is really biased here, and it was just they were actually questioning the American voters who voted for Trump. They were questioning President Trump's mental fitness, and so
right.
It'd be interesting to see how history records this.
It will be. It will be very, very interesting. So, but yeah, so that's what's happened today, technically, in the Korean Peninsula. So, fucking awesome. I asked my grandma called me because my grandpa was actually in the Navy and had deployed to Korea during the Korean War. And I asked my grandma, I was like, you know, what does Papa think about all of this? About, you know, the Korean War being essentially over. Because, you know, because
what did he say?
He's uneasy about it. My grandparents are super right wing. Like to the point where I'm like, oh, you guys are making me a little uncomfortable. But wow. You know, they're in their 80s. What do you expect? Like, my grandparents say some racist shit, and I'm like, But you know, they grew up in that era, so they're old now. Whatever.
You know, I know we've had troops in Germany and in Europe for a very, very long time. I mean, for a damn long time. When the Berlin Wall came down, how many? I mean, was there a force reduction in Germany?
I think so, and there still is. It's an ongoing thing. There's a lot of bases in Germany that are still being closed.
I wonder if South Korea would follow suit. I mean, I'm not saying next week.
Yeah, and
years and years maybe.
And I think that's going to be part of the agreement with, because they were saying that this is going to be like a trilateral or even a quadrilateral agreement between the two Koreas and then with the United States and then possibly China as well, which is why it would be a quadrilateral. In this official ending of the Korean War and of peace and whatnot. And I think one of the things that is going to be brought to the table, especially by the North, is the removal of U.S. troops from South Korea. And Thomas, can we go home now? Sure. But I think that it's going to have to be like an overtime type of deal, right? Because if you think about it, you know, these bases have been there for 6 decades, which means the communities that are right outside these bases, their economies are supported in large by the Americans that are there.
Absolutely,
so
they are.
If we were to just pick up and move out and be like, deuces, like the,
well, I mean,
local...
look at the American communities that suffered when we went to the Gulf War the first time. Fort Campbell, Clarksville, Tennessee, about dried up and blew away because there was no one there. You know, car dealerships were struggling. Of course, the bars were struggling. But, you know, just the general economy.
Yeah.
The military, it doesn't matter what country you're in, that your military brings a lot of economy to that area.
Fucking Jason. Once we're in something naughty, we never pull out. Yeah. Pulling outs for losers. I mean, what? It's a dangerous game, Jason. That's how babies are made.
Uh-oh.
True story. But no, but I do think that part of the negotiation is going to be the removal of U.S. troops. And then it's just going to be a matter of negotiating a timeline. And we have one of the best negotiators as our president.
The dude's been negotiating for a living for a very long time.
So, like, I have no, right? Oh, Tomas, again, who's going to buy the Juicy Girls drinks now? Exactly. Like, the Juicy Girls are going to need to have their drinks. Hi, honey. But yes. So, it doesn't mean that, like, all of the troops in the area are going to be gone because, you know, remember, oh, bless you. Sorry, my dog just like sneezed on me. Thanks, buddy. Remember, 7th Fleet is based in Japan. So I don't know if we would then move, you know, X number of troops from Korea and move them to Japan as kind of like a trial thing. Like, hey, you know, we'll get off the Korean peninsula, but we're going to be right over here. If you start some shit, we're going to be right here. And it'll be way too easy for us to just come right back over. Or, you know, or if we also go back down to Guam, because, you know, we've got an Air Force base in Guam. So do we take some of the Army guys and do we build up some Army bases down in Guam?
I mean, we got folks in the Philippines. We have, I mean, we're everywhere.
Yeah. So, you know, do we build up those places now to still have eyes and hands on in that area, but not on the actual peninsula itself?
Yeah, I'd say maintain Osan for sure.
So, yeah. Oh, my fucking earpiece keeps falling out. Fuck you, asshole. Anyways. So you remember how, what was it? Back in February, we had that sweet airstrike on Syria.
Yeah.
Friggin'. So apparently SecDef Mattis is a total badass, and like that's breaking news. But Secretary of Defense James Mattis explained Thursday why he directed a strike that reportedly killed hundreds of Russian mercenaries in Syria. So basically, he came out and said it. Like he was like, "Yeah, no, it was me. I ordered their annihilation." It's like, fuck yes.
Those are great words,
right? So Mattis told the Senate Armed Service Committee, oh, even better, that the U.S. had a deconfliction line with Russia to ensure that the two countries can communicate in order to avoid direct conflict with one another in Syria. He said that the group of irregular forces were in conflict with U.S. forces, and once it was ascertained that those forces were not Russian regulars, Mattis directed a counterattack. Quote, the Russian high command in Syria assured us that it was not their people, and my direction to the chairman was for the force then to be annihilated, Mattis said, and it was.
So basically he said, hey man, are these guys on your team? No, these guys are not on our team. Okay, are you sure? Yep. Yes, we are sure. Awesome.
Okay. They dead now, bruh.
So now I guess they don't have any way to complain about it now.
Right. Where was I? The force comprised hundreds of Russian mercenaries, which then CIA Director Mike Pompeo, who is now Secretary of State, attests to when he said the U.S. killed a couple hundred Russians. On Thursday, the Senate confirmed Pompeo to be President Donald Trump's Secretary of State, like I just said. Asked about whether the Russian Federation was harassing U.S. forces in Syria, Mattis stopped short of blaming Russia for particular battlefield actions. Quote, I cannot target the responsibility to the Russians right now, he said. It's a crowded battlefield. It's also got Iranians out there and, of course, the regime force as well. He touted the sanctions the Trump administration has imposed on specific Russians. Quote, you notice as we go forward, we've so far sanctioned 189 individuals in Russia, he said. Economic sanctions are going to be obviously looked at for future violations as well, Mattis added. So we have an asymmetric way, an indirect way of going after them and making them pay.
Damn.
I love how he's not afraid to tell it how it is and just be like, yeah, no, I ordered it. What are you going to do about it? Nothing.
That's just, it's so murky. I mean, worldwide, but especially over there, especially in Syria, because it's like, other than your geographic location, no one really knows whose side who is on.
Right. I just love how a lot of my liberal friends are constantly posting about how, the war in Syria is illegal. And I have to school them and be like, 1, we're not at war because Congress has not declared it. 2, thank your Obama for this because he got us into this shit. It was not Trump. So try again.
It's like Trump is going to spend his entire first term cleaning up fucking previous administration's messes.
Yes.
That's just so he can focus on his second term.
Right. Daddy Trump. But yeah, fucking. No, I don't know. I think Mattis was the best choice we could have ever gotten for SecDef.
I think so too, because I'm thinking about Rumsfeld. Mm-hmm. And he was more calculating. Calculating means not. I guess it would be calculating. He was more of a political weighing this side to that side. Mm-hmm. General Mattis seems to be like, you've given me not a mission, but this is our state, our focus, and anything outside that focus needs to be dealt with. And he deals with those things that fall outside the box.
Yeah.
And eliminates them.
Yep. I love it. Freaking, do we have a VA secretary yet? No, we don't.
No.
The admiral who was nominated for it actually withdrew himself because of rumors that he was that he had prescribed Ambien and what else?
Alcohol-related incidents or use or abuse.
I don't know, but if you're a doc, you drink too. You have to deal with stupid people all fucking day. Trust me, you'll get a drinking habit. But no, for prescribing Ambien to troops who were about to deploy, because he was a good doctor and he was trying to make sure that they had sleep, so that way by the time when they arrived in theater, they were good to go.
I remember when I came back from Iraq, they were offering an Ambien pill.
Yeah.
For the flight home.
Yeah. So that way you could sleep. So that way by the time you got home, you were good to go.
Yep.
And we do the fucking same thing for when you deploy over there. This is nothing new. Everyone does it.
Just sucks you can't, like on the flight over or the flight back, you can't order shit on Amazon.
Right. But yeah, you know, and Ambien is not a narcotic. So apparently the big hullabaloo, if you will, that the senators were having a conundrum about. Oh, look at me using big words. Whereas that he was prescribing this medication without actually giving any of the guys an actual exam. He was just writing scripts, and
that happens.
Which happens all the fucking time. All the time. Civilian doctors do it all the goddamn time. Especially if you happen to be friends with them. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've gone up to my doc and been like, hey, you know, I need like antibiotics. Like, I've got some sort of like sinus infection going on. Can you help me out here? Sure. Here you go. I help you? Go away. Go lay down. Go.
Me?
No, I'm talking to my dog. He's like in my face right now. Chill the fuck out, dude.
That's absolutely true. I mean, my ex-sister-in-law is a doctor, and you know, if my daughters got sick, she's like, okay, what's their weight? Yeah. How tall are they? Okay, this is the prescription. It'll be at this pharmacy. Go and pick it up.
Yeah, go pick it up in like an hour. All right,
yep.
Sweet, thanks. Or like, you know, if I pulled a muscle from doing something and like strained my back or whatever. All right, here you go. Here's like a mild muscle relaxer. It's not gonna fucking make you high. It's not gonna make you all woozy or anything, but it's gonna take away your pain. Sweet, awesome, thanks. So it's
I think it was a lot about nothing with the Admiral.
Yeah.
When he was first nominated, there was a big stink about, well, he's got no managerial experience.
Right? The VA doesn't need a manager. They don't. They've had managers in the past, and look at what's happened. They've killed people.
I'm mad. That's a big fucking sandwich to eat, if you ask me, man.
Yes.
Fixing the VA, because not all VAs are horrible.
No, they're not.
Phoenix VA, yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Seriously, I could. Ugh.
Did you ever, when you lived in that area, did you ever go to the Phoenix VA?
Oh, a few times.
Really? Is it as bad as? I mean, you weren't.
Yes. So basically, I had to go there. I went there once. Or no, sorry. Yes, I went there once. To the emergency room, anyways, and then I had to go there a second time to be, you know, have my legs put up into stirrups and be filleted open with a cold ass speculum for my annual woman's exam. Let me tell you how much fun that is.
La, la, la.
Being like, oh, hello, nice to meet you. All right, legs in stirrups, here we go. So much fun.
Uh-huh.
But no, okay, so I went to the ER once while I lived in Arizona, and it was for a kidney stone, and I was quite literally pissing blood. Which, you know, that sucks. But then also on top of that, you know, I was in extraordinary pain. So I get to the VA, I check in, and there's dudes on the floor with blankets sleeping because they're waiting to be seen. And I'm like, oh, this is promising. Like, I have to work tomorrow. But then, so they call me back. They asked for, you know, a urine sample, and I'm like, all right, here you go. And it's blood. And I'm like, ta-da, I told you. And so they take me back. I go into like a back corner room. I am in there for 5 hours.
To be seen?
Yes.
Oh, geez.
During that 5 hours, nobody came and saw me. I did not talk to a nurse. I did not talk to a doctor. I did not. No one came and took vitals.
Did they didn't triage you?
No.
Shit.
But they took me into a room in the back and like just kind of left me there. And to the point where like I got up, left the room, and like found somebody, and I was like, hey, if you guys aren't going to do anything to help me, I'm just going to fucking go. Because again, I have work tomorrow. And I've been here for 5 hours and I haven't seen anybody. And they were like, oh, we're waiting on your labs. And I'm like, I know for a fact my labs don't take that fucking long. So again, what's your excuse? Like, I understand you guys are busy, but I can literally be in and out of here in an hour. Like, hit me with some fucking Toradol, help get this pain away, and I can be on my way. It's not that difficult.
You could have done your own paperwork.
You could have.
So it's not like that's a new thing, the kidney stone thing.
No. No, it's not. But which is why this new executive order that President Trump just signed is going to be fucking awesome. Because it's allowing veterans to receive care at any facility and not just at a VA. And it would be covered by the VA.
I've got questions about that, but
I do too. I don't know how they are going to, what's the right word? Audit that, if you will, to make sure no one's abusing the system, considering people abuse the VA as it is. But in theory, that's an amazing thing, especially for people who don't live anywhere near an actual VA hospital.
yeah.
You know, like when I lived in Arizona, sure, there was a VA clinic down the street, but to get to the actual hospital where they had an emergency room, that was almost an hour and a half away.
Yeah, we have a clinic here in Fort Worth, and the closest VA hospital is in Dallas, and that's 50 miles, 40 miles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was living in Surprise, Arizona, which is far west Phoenix Valley, and the VA is in downtown Phoenix, which is about an hour to an hour and a half away.
That's a long drive if you need medical care. The thing is, I thought for a while, and I've got two thoughts on this. I thought for a while that if you are in, let's say, a car accident, and you're taken to a hospital, they'll say this person is a veteran enrolled in the VA. We're going to send them over to the VA hospital. Does that happen?
Wait, what?
If a person is in let's just say a car accident.
Yeah.
Once they go through their emergency care, they'll say, oh, this person is a veteran and is registered with the VA. We're going to send this person over to.
For follow-up care, they'll go to the VA. However, if it's a car accident and it's an ambulance, you are going to the nearest hospital, nearest accepting hospital.
Exactly.
No matter what, especially if it's life-threatening.
Now, my other question was, let's just say you go to a hospital. What is the guarantee that the service member, the veteran, is not going to start receiving bills from that hospital until the government, the VA, gets on it and pays those bills? Right.
There is no guarantee about that.
I mean, what do you just pay until the VA picks it up and then you're done, or is there a reimbursement? There's probably a lot of infrastructure that needs to be laid down before this actually really goes into motion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, perfect example. So, 2 years ago,
mm-hmm.
right? I have to think about it. Hold on. Almost 2 years ago, when I moved back to Texas after I got married, and I had my ectopic pregnancy. I was getting billed for that, even though, you know, my husband and I were married, and, you know, he's active duty, so TRICARE is supposed to cover that, right?
Yeah.
But yet, because I got TRICARE standard, yeah. So that way I could, you know, go to whichever doctor I wanted and didn't have to go to the local Army hospital. Mostly because, you know, I'd rather go to the docs that I work with because I know them. But yeah, we were getting bills from the hospital and like trying to get TRICARE to cover those. It was aggravating. It was like, you guys, these bills are due. Pay them.
Did it happen?
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually?
Yeah. So it took a minute though, but I can see where you would have that concern where, you know, would these veterans who go to a non-VA hospital, would they be getting billed? And how long would it take before the VA picked up the bill? Or if they would have any sort of pushback, like, hey, you live within X amount of miles of a VA hospital, so you should just come to us. So we're not going to cover it. You know?
Yeah, and I'm wondering, would this be more, not so much for medical, but more as like a counseling or a behavioral health or mental health? I mean, there's a lot of veterans that are in counseling.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they would say, you know, I'm not going to go to the VA anymore. I'm going to go and get my own private counselor. Would that be? I mean, someone who they would choose.
Yeah.
And not like a group atmosphere, just, you know, someone who they choose to be their counselor as opposed to being assigned a counselor.
Yeah. That'll definitely, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But we are gonna go on a break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about French President Macron.
Macron, yeah.
Macron, his visit to the United States. Chancellor Merkel was here today for a couple hours. We're going to talk about her visit, and we're going to talk about the Golden State Killer was captured today.
That's a good story.
So, yeah, so hang tight. Oh, we're also going to talk about the U.S. Army Sergeant Major's Academy doing some unethical, naughty things. But you know what? Ethics only matter when you're junior enlisted. Do as I say, not as I do. Am I right, Sergeant Majors? Oh, yeah. Naughty. All right, you guys. We'll be back here shortly. Shots.
See ya.
Noon. Gotta get it together, I gotta stay in tune. Same time's against me, but I hate to rush. Gotta keep it between the lines until I hit the dust. I gotta buy some time. The key to freedom lies across the state line. It's a daily ritual, this game I play. In the life of a shadow man with a debt to pay. Hit the gravel with my hand on the radio. Here I am again. this life that I lead, it might not take me anywhere, but I was born to travel along this lonely road to nowhere. Like this life that I lead, it might not take me anywhere, but I was born to travel along this lonely road to nowhere.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Try to convince her is now, and this is your moment. To find your place in the sun.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
Welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of Friday Night Freedom with me, Minx, and best stepdad ever, Cause.
What's happening? Happy Friday.
I'm so glad you're here. You and I haven't done a show in like forever,
No, it's been since we did the Tuesday thing
right? Which was
a long time ago.
when?
March?
Right? When was
Last
that?
year, March? Yeah.
So yeah. So oh my goodness. So I know we had a comment in the Facebook comment section about, talking about veteran suicide. And we can go there if you guys really want to. Like, we can get super real for a couple minutes, if need be. But it's up to you guys. Or, I've got a whole bunch of articles that I really want to get to and talk about. But again, it's up to you. You guys got to let me know what you want to talk about. So yeah. So until I get some feedback here on Facebook Live, I guess we will just continue on with one of our big stories tonight, which is the U.S. Army Sergeant Major's Academy is in a bit of a pickle. So basically what had happened is that the Army, then I'm getting this article from the Army Times. So the Army's investigating 700 grunt-style t-shirts reportedly gifted to the Sergeant Major's Academy. So the U.S. Army Sergeant Major's Academy is investigating a haul of t-shirts students received this year, apparently for free, according to a Wednesday report from the main page. But we're not real journalists.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
We know nothing.
we know nothing. To celebrate their cohort, the military-themed clothing company Grunt Style worked with the Academy to design a shirt for Class 68. But according to the report, the school received more than 700 of the shirts for free, despite the shirts retailing online for $24 a piece. Quote, the incident in question is under investigation. USA SMA spokesman David Crozier told Army Times on Friday. Crozier? I don't know. I know there's a Z. There's like a Q in there. Pretty sure there's an X.
You're doing fantastic.
Citing the investigation, Crozier declined to elaborate on the situation, including what type of investigation was underway or whether any of the details reported on social media were accurate. The Sergeant Major's Academy, based at Fort Bliss, Texas, is an institution of military higher learning where the Army's promotable master sergeants complete a 10-month course before they become sergeants major. The report alleges that the Academy did not do a legal review before accepting the donation, which totals about $17,000 in retail value, raising questions of if a conflict of interest between the Army and a company that would benefit from a relationship with the service.
Seems to me it would be a symbiotic thing.
What do you mean?
Grunt Style would benefit, but then the Sergeant Major's Academy would benefit because they could get, garments
For free.
Well, for free or for a reduced cost.
But then that calls in ethical standpoints, yes?
I don't know if it would be. I mean, free seems like Grunt Style would be expecting something in return.
Such as
More business.
what are sergeant majors if not really the neck of a company or a unit for the commanders, and who are heavily relied upon from the commanders on what they should do and whatnot, and do, in all honesty, have sway over policies that are written and that can be implemented.
I'm just getting cerebral on this. I don't like to. I really like to believe in the goodness of folks. Grunt Style was probably just they're trying to pimp their stuff out, like any business would. And if they, and this is behind closed doors, I have no idea what they talked about. But if they're like, hey man, we're going to give this class 68, everybody's going to get a shirt. You get a shirt, you get a shirt, everybody gets a shirt.
Right.
And then if they like the shirts or whatever, then maybe the Sergeant's Major Academy can come back to Grunt Style going, okay, we'll sell these shirts for you, but it's not going to be $24. It might be $14.
Right. But yeah, no. So apparently Sergeant Major's Academy in class 68 is under investigation.
Or was it given with the expectation of?
They're not saying.
Right. And that's what an investigation is for. It just looks bad, and it's an appearance of impropriety, and that taints. I'm thinking Grunt Style more than the Sergeant's Major Academy. I think that's a wrist slap for whoever made that deal. But then with Grunt Style, then that's going to be on your permanent record. And it kind of hurts, if you're dealing with a company that all of a sudden becomes shady, whether it's true or not. If there's just a accusation of them being shady in one way or another, then it's like, well, I'd rather go with this other company as opposed to Grunt Style because they've got this shady dealing with or without proof or without some determination of guilt or innocence.
Right. Ooh, speaking of CID or investigations, though, quick shout out to CID. What's up, you guys? I got someone messaged my Minx page. I was like, hey, give CID a shout out. We provide a service to the military just like everyone else. We're gun and whiskey lovers just like the next soldier. Either way, still a fan.
That's funny.
You got it, dude.
Yeah. CID for the win.
Irony.
Right? You could read into that email.
Right? I could. But yeah. So naughty Sergeant Majors.
Yeah, I mean, who is it? I mean, because this is a relationship. It's a business relationship. So who approached whom first?
Right. That's just it. We don't know. Yeah. We're not sure. So, it'll be very interesting to see what this investigation uncovers. And thanks to Freedom of Information Act, and then also just eyes and ears everywhere. Friggin'. I'm sure word will get out what the results were of the investigation.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and Grunt Works, or Grunt Style rather, has a lot to work, has a lot to lose. If they have a tarnished reputation. I mean, it's COO, CFO, CEO put out a Facebook post saying that they've decided to get into a relationship with the NFL.
Oh,
so
that's right. They did. I read that, and I think I was so out of it, I didn't fully understand what it was that they were saying.
It was almost like he was trying to explain a business decision to everybody.
To people who don't need an explanation.
Right.
Like.
I guess it kind of throws a little bit of some things into jeopardy. There's more flux in this situation now than there was solid ground.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll definitely see what happens. Yeah.
So is it only senior NCOs that are ethic? What was your statement earlier? About ethics?
Well, apparently, apparently the story broke. Like, apparently there was something put out on the main page about this, and apparently a lot of the comments that happened, like that were left under this story, were from students in the class, and apparently they were butthurt and like throwing around words like integrity and personal courage, like all the words senior NCOs use to try to make it seem like they're not in the wrong.
I see.
And then this Army Times article, a lot of the comments are just
I read the article.
To deflect.
I didn't see any of the comments under the article. I read the article.
So. But yeah. So that's what's happened from the Sergeant Major's Academy. So, again, we don't really know a whole lot. That's just what we know from Army Times. And yeah, we're going to see what happens.
We may see some information come forward in the next, I don't know, week or two.
Mm-hmm.
Or nothing at all. They've received the shirts? I mean, so they're there.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea that the Sergeant's Major Academy was 10 months long.
I didn't either. Like, that's ridiculous. Like a 10-month-long school to yell at people to not walk on the grass.
In a place that doesn't have fucking grass.
The fucking irony. Keep off the grass, Sergeant Major. There's no grass here. Get off the goddamn rocks.
I imagine there's not a whole lot of yelling. They might have like yelling practice.
Like drill sergeant school.
Yeah. Well, who's going to yell at an E8?
Higher like command sergeant majors.
Yeah, I just don't think there's going to be a lot of yelling. I think it's a lot of procedural and political stuff. And
allegedly, they have to give the shirts back. And oh no, they do yell.
Oh really?
Okay. Allegedly, I don't know. I've never
like
been there.
Practice, or they get yelled at? Like you practice yelling, or you?
I don't know.
Yelled at?
I'm just reporting what I'm being told.
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Like you gank some fucking E3 from some unit, you kidnap them, you stick them in a room, and then all these sergeants major candidates, they do yelling practice on them, and whoever if you can make them cry, then you move on to the next level.
Right. Congratulations! You can now go and get your coffee.
Right.
That's probably what it is. They withhold coffee from these old ass motherfuckers until they get super angry and see who can yell the worst.
I guess that would be called cangry. Caffeine or coffee angry.
Right. Ice brings up a good point. In no way, Sergeant Majors, quote, do as I say, not as I do, Sergeant Majors. Naughty. But, Ice is enjoying setting things on fire.
Watch it burn.
Right? Just, who doesn't like fire, though? Honestly. And it's almost Beltane, so Festival of Fire. First one. Like, you gotta celebrate big. Just set everything on fire.
What's that called?
Beltane?
Beltane?
Beltane.
Beltane.
Mm-hmm.
You just light shit on fire and.
Well, okay, so basically it's a it's May Day, right? So it's a festival that celebrates the return of the sun and like the beginning of like, you know, summer festival and like summer festivities and everything. It's a fertility festival. It's a, you know, spring is like for real back in like in full swing festival. It's just, you know, the return of like the sun and everything. It's a good time.
Well, I think it needs to get above about 70 degrees where you are in order for that to happen.
Right?
It's the return of the sun as you hold your parka even tighter.
But yeah, that's where, you know, like the maypoles come from. Yeah. A lot of shit that people do have roots in pagan traditions. Weird.
Easter.
Right? What the fuck do bunnies and eggs have to do with Jesus coming back from the dead? We don't know. Nobody knows.
I saw some mention in the Facebook live chat.
Go on.
Someone was talking about the use of MDMA for treatment of PTSD.
Ooh, yes.
And I know that J-Ray had mentioned this on the air that he was in line for as far as the case study for that.
That would be like, honestly, if I was not, you know, subject to random piss tests at my job, that would honestly be something I would totally do.
Well, if it's a medical procedure, if it's administered by a physician, would that be an okay thing?
I'm not sure, because it is a controlled substance. And I do surgery. So I don't know if that would even be allowed.
Yeah, and I guess you don't need to be you don't need to have minks on the operating table going, "Oh, you're pretty on the outside and the inside."
And the inside. Ah! These gloves feel amazing. No.
Hey, don't mind me. I'm just gonna warm my hands up a little bit. Woo.
Right? Oh my god, it'd be terrible. Cause like I'd try to like touch everything and it would just be bad.
But to have, I mean, I have no idea how the trials went. If it's been approved, I mean, I think it would be great. I don't see how it would be beneficial, having never had MDMA.
It's very all right. So I have done it a few times. It's a lot of fun. It's just this intense euphoria that it produces.
Yeah, but it goes away, and then you're back to
eventually. Like everything is just, the world is a better place while you're rolling. And just, you know, people are, I didn't mind crowds while I was rolling. Like, people were bumping into me, and I really wasn't giving a shit, mostly because I'm like, oh, physical contact, this feels awesome. But yeah, I like one of the times I took it, I went to a paint party in Houston, and that was, oh my god, it was so much fun. But yeah, no, I rolling my ass off. But just, you know, I was able to tolerate being around a large number of people who I didn't know. And I was only there with like one person who, like, she and I were in the beginning stages of like building a friendship. So I didn't, you know, I was still kind of wary on like being around her a little bit, but like rolling, I was able to like just relax and like have a good time and not really be on alert, you know?
Right. And the same was probably for her as well.
Yeah. So it was a good time. I don't know. I like it. But that's me. Doesn't make eggs turn a funny color. So.
No, I just, I imagine it's great for the 6 hours that you're doing this. I really don't know how it's going to be in a clinical setting. I mean, they're not going to let you take some MDMA and then they're going to play music and you're going to dance and whatever.
Right.
I mean, who's the DJ for this? I'm a clinical DJ for MDMA.
No, I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's just going to be like they'll probably start off on like a low dosage and it'll be at like a controlled dose, of like literally like pure MDMA. And it would, controlled setting at first and like, all right, just go about your normal day and just let us know how it goes. And yeah, I don't think it would necessarily be about, going out and partying and like going to raves or paint parties or, whatnot.
Or you take whatever dose and then you can sit around in a group and everyone just spills the fucking beans because
Yes.
everyone's about sharing.
Yeah, exactly. So how would rolling benefit someone with PTSD? Well, speaking of someone who has it, I can tell you I hate being around large groups of people I don't know, especially if I'm there by myself or with someone that I don't really know. So for me, I was able to relax and not be on guard and be like constantly surveying my fucking surroundings and being like, all right, where's the next threat coming from? I was able to just fucking relax and be a normal fucking person.
And that means a lot too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of value in that.
Yeah. Like I had a good time. And I felt fucking normal. Like I'm like, this is what a normal person would experience. But again, like I was smart with it. I didn't drink while I was on it. I mean, besides water.
Yeah, I've heard you get dehydrated.
Super easily. But yeah. And so,
Because I've watched the entire like Drugs Inc. and they talk about these dealers that are like wanting to make more money, so they want to do the MDMA or the Molly thing. So they'll drop their cocaine and meth, and they'll go from their place in Detroit, and they'll go to like the inner city where they're having a rave.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've never done this before, but I'm going to sell these pills and everything's going to be fine. I'm going to make some money. And they get away from that experience going, man, no one there wanted to kill each other.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All they wanted to do was dance and just have fun.
Yeah. That is true, Brinko. That is a very good point. It does make you super horny. Yeah, it does. Like there's no way around that. So I don't know how they're gonna get around that with clinical trials. I really don't, because it really does. Like it just takes your sex drive and it's like all the way up to 15. Good luck, buddy. Like, damn it.
But I think if it's a controlled dosage, then it might not be. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I've never done it.
I don't know. So
But it's a schedule. Someone mentioned, it might have been Luke, said it was a Schedule 4.
Yes.
And methamphetamines are Schedule 2, along with several opiates. But Schedule 1 is marijuana, which is a big bozo no medical benefit drug.
Yeah, somehow.
Well, hell yeah, do it.
Right? I don't know. It'll be very, very interesting to see where that study goes.
I'd like to see the results. Does it help, and how does it help?
Mm-hmm. So, but So, those DNA sites, like Ancestry.com and 23andMe.
Yeah.
They helped catch the Golden State Killer.
Oh, I did not know that.
So investigators in California were able to crack the case of the Golden State Killer using genealogical websites that feature genetic information from a relative, prosecutors said Thursday. Joseph James D'Angelo, 72 years old, was arrested Tuesday at his Citrus Heights home after a DNA sample matched murders. Matched murders, 45 rapes, and 120 home burglaries throughout the state in the 1970s and 1980s.
Holy crap.
Yes. So, he's believed to be responsible for at least 12 murders. There we go.
And the reason they caught him is because he did, I'm not saying it's 23andMe, just like he went and did a genealogy test with, let's say, 23andMe.
Not him, his relatives.
Oh, he must have been a suspect for a while.
So the Sacramento County District Attorney's Office said Thursday that investigators used DNA from a crime scene years ago and compared it to other DNA samples from family history websites, which users send their DNA to in order to learn more about their ancestry. The district attorney's office, quote, explored online family trees that appeared to have matches to DNA samples from the East Bay Area rapist crimes, the San Francisco Bee reported. They then followed clues to individuals in family trees to determine whether they were potential suspects. Officials on Wednesday said that DNA helped investigators identify D'Angelo and led to the case being solved within the last 6 days.
That's amazing, dude.
Sacramento County Sheriff Scott Jones referred to the genetic material as discarded DNA, but authorities at the time refused to give specifics about how it was collected or matched to the suspect. Authorities last Thursday reportedly were able to pinpoint that D'Angelo could be a suspect, which led the investigators setting up surveillance in his Citrus Heights neighborhood and ultimately obtaining the discarded DNA. D'Angelo, a former police officer, was taken into custody as he left his home, located 16 miles northeast of Sacramento. Jones said that the 72-year-old was surprised when deputies arrested him and told them he had a roast in the oven. So far, he's been charged with 8 murders.
Now, I'm just asking, I mean, is there any privacy with these genealogical websites?
I'm not sure. I honestly, I did not. So I did both, like Ancestry.com and 23andMe.com. I did not read the fine print. I'll be straight up and honest. I was like, meh, next. Or like, I agree, fuck it, whatever. Like,
take my money.
I have nothing to hide. I don't fucking care. I just want to know what the fuck I am. So I can't tell you. But, I mean, I do know that 23andMe will email me every so often and ask for permission for my DNA to be subject to, like, genetic testing to test for, like, different diseases or whatnot.
So you did the suit, because you can get just your genealogy, or if you pay like an extra X amount of dollars, you can get traits and susceptibility.
That's 23andMe. Or actually, they both do it. I know for Ancestry.com, it's like an extra fee, but I think 23andMe, it was like it came with the whole package. Hold on, we have to give a shout out to Keegan. Otherwise, that asshole is gonna ruin Infinity War. Don't you fucking, if you fucking give out spoilers, Keegan, I swear to fucking whatever deity you believe in, I will find you and I will hurt you.
No Kegels here. I mean, Keegans. No, don't do it.
Don't do it, Keegan.
Do you want to get banned? That's how you get banned.
Right, motherfuckers.
I
Right?
have no.
Of all, like, you do no.
I have no idea what Infinity Wars is.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious.
Oh, Keegan, I'm just kidding, motherfucker. I will fucking. Right, drone strike incoming.
I'm not wrapped up in that the whole comic movies thing.
Oh, I am. Huge Marvel nerd. So, and I haven't seen it yet. So, because I'm here doing my job. Thanks, Keegan. Have a good night.
So what's what is it? There's Marvel and DC.
DC sucks. DC showed promise with Wonder Woman. And because literally Wonder Woman has been the best DC movie to come out since ever. So they showed promise, and then they fucking they fucking ruined it. So basically, they were trying to do what Marvel did, which was set up for this big collaborative superhero movie, right? Like the Avengers. But with DC, it's the Justice League. And so what happened is that, we get introduced to Batman, Superman, fine, whatever. We finally got introduced to Wonder Woman.
Okay.
And instead of then getting the standalone Aquaman movie and Cyborg movie, we go from Wonder Woman straight into Justice League. And it's why. Like, there's no background. Like, they're
So they
trying
went
to
from
put backgrounds of characters into a movie, and at the same time make them all come together, and at the same time have this outer conflict that makes them all come together, and it doesn't work.
So they went from being individual superheroes to the next scene being a team, and there's no bond there.
Yeah, it's just so basically, Justice League fucking goes and blows their wad. Yeah, no, Wonder Woman by far the best DC DC movie that they've ever made. Best movie in the DCEU, hands down. Wonder Woman. Batman versus Superman, they fucking blew their load so early with Doomsday as the main villain. Ridiculous. I think that, they should have had Doomsday be a villain for, the whole Justice League in general. But, fuck it, whatever. I'm not a fucking director. What the fuck do I know? I need to put this down. I need to stop playing with that. So, and then we have Marvel. Marvel literally cannot do anything wrong with the MCU anymore. They were fucking it up a little bit in the beginning with a different Hulk movies, which in theory are part of the MCU, but at the same time, like, they're fucking terrible, so everyone just kind of forgets that they're there. But, it started off with Iron Man, or it started off with, like, the Hulk, and then Iron Man, and then Thor, and Captain America, and each of these characters got their own movie.
I've seen those movies individually, and they're good.
Yes, and then you get the actual Avengers movie where they all come together, and it makes sense. And then you get some more movies, and then you get another Avengers movie. Well, here we are at we're at a third group movie, right? But this time there's even more characters. So we've added. So not only do we have Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, Hawkeye,
The X-Men come in.
Vision, Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man. But
Wolverine?
No, not Wolverine. But we also have Ant-Man. We've got Black Panther. We've got Guardians of the Galaxy.
Love that movie.
Right? So yeah, so all of these characters now are in one movie. And that is Avengers Infinity War. Because finally Thanos has gotten off of his fat purple ass and is actually doing something. Because like for the last decade, Thanos hasn't done shit. But now Thanos is actually doing something and we're like, oh, finally. So this is the start of Infinity Wars. So.
And
yes.
infinity means forever, so there'll be another one.
It's actually a 2-part thing. So this is part 1.
2-part infinity.
Next is going to be part 2. And the Infinity Stones are actually, they're different stones that control different aspects. So one is the Mind Stone. One is a Time Stone. One is, and like, I don't know, there's like 6 of them.
Well, Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah. But, and then they all go into this gauntlet, which is called the Infinity Gauntlet. And Thanos has the gauntlet, and basically what it is he's trying to impress death. That's so if you go back to the comic books, he's trying to impress death by collecting all of the Infinity Stones and pretty much becoming the master of the universe and a master of death and life and everything. And it's all to impress a chick named Death.
Well, and that's our mission.
Yep. Basically, yeah.
and that explains the title of Infinity.
Yeah.
I understand
always
that.
trying to please us bitches.
That's right.
I can't be pleased ever.
Not that it lasts for infinity, but it's a fight, which seems like infinity.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like a comic book nerd more so than like a Lord of the Rings nerd, or
I love Lord of the Rings.
Or a Harry Potter. I know you're.
Oh my God, I love Harry Potter. Oh my God. So I don't know if anyone else has gotten it. I know our PAO has gotten it, but Grandmaster Flash. But there's a new Harry Potter game for like your phone, and I totally got it. And I got so excited because I actually got like a little letter that says, Minx, you've been accepted to Hogwarts. And I'm like, oh, finally! I got my letter.
So now would you start trying to walk through walls?
No.
No. You just go to a random train station and start ramming into walls, going, one of these walls is going to let me...
Right, yeah. One of these is going to fucking work. Exactly, Luke. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa. So
I'm happy that you're happy.
Yeah, no, me too. Last Friday was bad. I'm going to be completely honest. So, you know how last Friday we didn't have a show? Oh, because, Super Troopers 2.
Great movie.
Great movie. I saw it, loved it. It was awesome. But no, last Friday was really not a good day for me. I was having some really bad thoughts and whatnot. And like thoughts I haven't had in years. And like I was fine, everything was fine, and then all of a sudden it these thoughts and like feelings and everything just hit me, and it came without warning, and it broke me, and I definitely definitely started having like thoughts of self-harm and
Shit.
yeah, and like thought like I was about to like walk across the street to Spanky's house and like hand her my pistol and be like, I need you to take this from me because I don't trust myself right now. Like it was getting a bit dicey last Friday. So I'm a lot better now though.
I'm glad.
I'm still here.
That happens.
Yeah. Definitely does. So just everyone, check on your battles. Make sure that, your friends are doing good.
It doesn't even need to be a phone call. It's just a message, an email, a text. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, you all right?
Yeah. So. Oh my goodness, break time. But yeah, so we are going to be back here in a little bit. Yeah, and when we come back, we are, let's see, what are we going to talk about?
I don't know. I didn't plan on being on the show until like a minute before showtime.
I know, right? Sorry. Oh yeah, so we're going to talk about Macron and Merkel coming to visit Trump and trying to sway him to continue on the Iranian deal. And then also a little British boy who is being forced to die in a hospital because, socialized medicine.
That's a sad fucking story right there.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what we're going to talk about when we come back.
Oh, gosh.
Hooray!
Shots, guys. We'll be back.
Right. Oh, God.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Of all the guilt you try to hide, and I no longer have the will to drive all these promises for lies, and I will never give into all the shit that life has put on you. The past will stay where it will die and bring an end into this goddamn life. I'm already giving up on you, but never giving up on me. The flies eat away at every day that's lost and left to rot away. And your eyes leave trails of panting emptiness. Your feelings for me will digress, and I will never give into all the shit that life has put on you. The past will stay where it will die and bring an end into this goddamn life. I've already given up on you, but never giving up on me. And I will never give into all the shit that life has put on you. The past will stay where it will die and bring an end into this goddamn life. I've already given up on you, but never giving up on me. It's better to be alone. It's better to be alone.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
Cartman!
Welcome back, everybody, to the third and final hour of Friday Night Freedom. I'm your host, Minx, with Kaz, best of dad ever.
Glad to be here.
So, in case anyone's wondering, like, what we do during the breaks, today, tonight, actually, I was busy watching YouTube videos on which Spanish accent is sexiest. And I can fully relate to the women who, were being talked to. Mostly because I don't speak Spanish, at all. And so literally, these men were speaking Spanish, but, they were talking about food or like just, you know, really talking out their ass about random shit. And these women were losing their goddamn minds.
They were saying like, today after lunch, I'm going to go cut the grass.
Right, yeah.
They were saying it in Spanish, and it was just like the sexiest thing ever.
Sexiest thing in the world. And if that was me, like if I was sitting there blindfolded, I'd be like, oh my God, yes.
What is
Say it again, Poppy. Say it again.
How do you say basic bitch in Spanish?
I don't know. But that's me.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, oh my God. Yeah, no, like if like someone speaks Spanish to me and I'm just like, I don't know what you said, but say it again and good Lord.
If it comes with the margarita, you're down.
Right? But it's funny because this one chick, this one dude starts talking to her about like food and she's like, oh, talking about food. And I was like, oh, it's Spanky.
Oh, I was going to say, was it Spanky? I didn't know she was doing YouTube videos.
But yeah, so that's what we do pretty much during, well, that's what I do during the breaks. I don't really talk to anybody off air because, you know, then I don't talk to them. Like, it's like we're repeating the same conversation that we had off air.
Oh, correct.
On air. So I'm like, have to keep myself entertained somehow.
No, really, because we were on break and I heard her listening to some other language and it was very distant. I'm like, what are you listening to? And she's like, no, you got to hear this.
Sexy Spanish accents. So, yeah, I don't know. Seriously though, accents and like other languages, I'm lost. You've got me. Just.
Do you ever think the American English is a sexy accent to a person from a different country?
I know it is. I know for a fact it is.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. When I was in Ireland, I was told that they loved my accent. I was like, I don't have one.
You have one. I don't have one.
Right? You're the one who sounds funny. Oh, that's another. Oh my God, the Irish accent. Oh, lost. Oh. So, something about accents. I'm just a total sucker for.
And it's not like a New York accent or a Southern accent. It's a different country accent.
Like I'll take Southern even like Southern, Irish, Scottish. I'll take German, Australian, Spanish. Yeah.
I've always wondered about that if other countries found the American accent or the American language sexy, as you know, because women speaking French is pretty fucking sexy. It doesn't matter what they're saying.
Right.
I've always died.
Right.
Random
dead.
thoughts.
Luke's a potato. I'm not big on potatoes. No, okay, so I never said hillbilly. There's a difference between like Southern and hillbilly. So, you know. Boston accent, like the khakis. Like, did I say car keys or did I say khakis? We'll never know.
Park your car by the yard. Franco, here we go, Joe.
Apparently, Joe has a Boston accent.
We've got a guy from Boston he's an engineer that works in my lab, and he's all, you know, dude. During NFL season, he's always wearing Patriots shit.
It's the worst.
And you know, so we'll go and we'll put in some money and we'll get like some pizza delivered, and it's not Domino's or anything like that, but it's, you know, it's a good pizza place. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, this isn't like back in the neighborhood. Like, no, we're not in the fucking neighborhood. This is fucking Texas, dude.
Right? The fuck is a neighborhood? It's a neighborhood. Pronounce the R's.
Ours are your friend.
Right? They're there. The chowder.
This is a AAH. Everything ends in fucking AAH.
Wicked smart.
Wicked smart, yo.
Fucking idiots. Wicked smart. And it's not even smart. It's sma.
Smart.
No, it's just sma.
Wicked smart.
You can't pronounce the R or the T, right?
You're not allowed to
You're
end.
not allowed to. You can't end the word smart. It's just wicked sma.
It's a different language, and it's English.
Right. Ugh.
So what you got on deck?
It's like a whole nother brand of like Cutney, but like worse.
Well, there's English and there's like the Walmart brand English.
Ooh.
I'm not saying which is which.
I'm not saying which one you guys have, but
I mean, it is. I mean, going from I've been in Texas most of my life, and going back home to where my parents are in Illinois, it's all very nasal. And then, you know, I've got friends that are like in Pennsylvania, and I'd go and visit them, and their English is different, but you kind of can understand them. But I'd see some friends in New Jersey, and dude, that's like you really have to tilt your head to hear everything.
Right? It's like
But then you go to California, and everything is so vanilla.
Right? And you're just like, speak English. And then you go to like deep south and you're like, what?
Well, it's even like what you said when you talk to Pookie. You understand what he's saying, but then he kind of gets on a tear sometimes, and you really have to. Can you write that down?
Right? I need you to say it again, but slower.
So
we sound funny, Joe. At least
So
we know
he's-
how to say car keys.
Khakis. Khaki pants.
We're not sure.
But you met Pookie this last weekend, so he is a
Pookie
certified.
and I have actually met now.
He's a certifiable mountain man.
He is. He's a total mountain man. Total. Like
He
backwoods.
looks like he's bigger than Jay Reddy, like taller. About the same?
They're about the same height. Yeah. They're about the same height. Yeah.
But it was fun times hunting down spirits and ghosts, and
It was. It was a lot of fun. Fucking
Spirit-
Pookie. Oh my god. Okay, so I don't know if anyone out there plays Skyrim or not, but you know how like you go around and like you become a hoarder like while you're playing Skyrim because you go around collecting all this shit? That was fucking Pookie at this hospital. His fucking ass was walking around and like grabbing shit and was like, this looks good. I could probably use this for something. And was trying to take it home. And we're like, Pookie, put it back. Like he grabbed a fucking rolling pin once. And he's like, yeah, I could use this at home. Like I can make tortillas. And we're like, Pookie,
that's not
put it
yours.
back. And then he walked into this one room where the ghosts were like banging each other. It was pretty exciting. And and like came out with like this glass beaker that looked like a bong of some sort. And I was like, Pookie, put the bong away. Like you don't need it. Put it back. Put it back now.
I had no idea ghosts smoke bongs.
I didn't either. But, you know, it's just like this large laboratory-esque beaker thing that could easily be converted into one. So, but yeah, fucking, he was acting like he was out fucking scouring the land, looking for shit he's supposed to take on a quest. It's like, fucking dude, stop.
So he goes back to the motherland with all the booty.
Right? Yeah.
Scavenging.
So, but.
So you want to hit stories?
Huh?
You want to hit one of the stories?
Yeah, we can do that. Do you want to do the sad one first, so like we get
I
that
do
out
want-
of the way?
Yeah, let's get it out of the way.
All right. So for those of you who don't know, because it hasn't really been covered like a lot, there's a little boy named Alfie Evans who is terminally ill, and he's in a British hospital. He's just shy of his second birthday. He has an incurable degenerative neurological, there we go, condition, and doctors say further treatment is futile and he should be allowed to die. His parents, however, want to take him to a hospital in Italy where he will be kept on life support and be given further treatment, further testing to see if there's anything more that can be done to save him. The British hospital treating Alfie withdrew his life support Monday after a series of court rulings sided with the doctors and blocked further medical treatment. On Wednesday, the Court of Appeal rejected a new bid by the parents to take Alfie to the Vatican's hospital in Rome. Y'all, the fucking Pope has gotten involved with this.
What's his affliction?
It doesn't say. It just says it's a degenerative neurological condition.
So the state is determining the fate of this kid.
Yes.
They're not allowing the parents to explore other means of treatment.
Correct. So Alfie has been granted Italian citizenship.
Sweet.
By the Italian government, obviously. The Italians have a plane in London or somewhere in England standing by to bring Alfie to Italy, to the Vatican Hospital in Rome, where there's an accepting team of physicians where they're literally just waiting on him. And the British hospital, the doctors are refusing to release Alfie to his parents. They're refusing to allow Alfie to go get further treatment. So Alfie's father, Thomas Evans, said the boy has shown, quote, no deterioration 3 days after being taken off a ventilator. He said the family planned to meet with doctors at Liverpool's Alder Hey Hospital to discuss whether Alfie could go home. Doctors say it's hard to estimate how long Alfie will live without life support, but that there is no chance he will get better. Evans said that if he was not allowed to take Alfie home, he would resume his fight in court. Months-long legal battle between Alfie's parents, backed by a Christian pressure group, and his doctors has drawn international attention, with officials in largely Catholic Poland and Italy implicitly criticizing Britain's courts and state-run National Health Service, also known as socialized medicine. But,
Right.
if you give it a fancy name like that, disguises its true meaning. Polish President Duda, because I'm not going to say his first name because I can't pronounce it, Wednesday said that Alfie Evans must be saved, and Pope Francis has appealed for the boy's parents' wishes to be heeded, saying only God can decide who dies. Italy has a military plane on standby to transport Alfie to Rome if the courts allow it, and has granted the boy Italian citizenship to facilitate his arrival and transport. Alfie's plight has been front page news for weeks in Italy, where a group of supporters launched a 9-day novena cycle of prayer in Rome's St. Peter's Square Wednesday to show solidarity with Alfie, his parents, and the Pope's message of support. There was another vigil outside the British Embassy in Warsaw, Poland. Emotions have run high over the case, with a band of supporters known as Alfie's Army protesting regularly outside the hospital, at times trying to storm the entrance.
That's pretty awesome. Alfie's Army.
Yeah. The hospital has beefed up its security, and police say they are monitoring social media posts about the case for malicious communications. Alder Hey Hospital Chairman David Henshaw and Chief Executive Louise Shepard said staff had been subjected to a barrage of highly abusive and threatening language and behavior. We have endured attacks upon our motivation, our professionalism, and our ethics. It has been a very difficult time, they said in a statement. Having to carry on our usual day-to-day work in a hospital that has required a significant police presence just to keep our patients, staff, and visitors safe is completely unacceptable.
What comes to mind is while the fight for Alfie is a good thing, and everyone loves kids.
Yeah.
How much of this is going on with adults in that country where the state's just like, nah, we're gonna let you wither away because we're not gonna pay, because it's socialized medicine. The government pays for everything.
Yeah, I think
it's an economic decision, not a personal decision. It's not there's no connection there, no personal connection.
So Tracy, so the thing is, right now, the family is trying to get Alfie released to him to take Alfie home. So that way Alfie spends his remaining time at home with family. However, the hospital, the doctors are worried that his family is going to then try to take Alfie to Italy, which is why there's now a holdup on whether or not they're going to release him.
Have they stopped care for Alfie?
Yes,
or
he's no longer on life support.
Dude, something needs to fucking happen.
So, and to answer your question about, like, adults versus children, I think the reason why adults, when something like this happens with adults, why a lot of this doesn't get more attention is because, you think of adults, you think, all right, you've lived your life. Whereas with children, he's not even 2.
Everyone's got a soft spot for kids. Everyone does. Everyone should.
So, I'm not sure about food or water. I'm not sure if he still has a feeding tube in or like an IV in it. The article does not say, Tracy. So it's just a matter of, really time now. But if it was your kid and there's a hospital out there that's saying, hey, we could try something. We can't guarantee that it'll work, but we can try something and, we can see if it'll help prolong his life. Like, would you not want to try that? Like, would you not take every effort necessary to try to do something to prolong it?
And what's sad is the parents would probably, walk across the world to save their kid, but they're being prevented by their government.
Yeah. Tracy said, I read where they stopped everything. If they stopped everything, then, he should be fucking discharged. If they've stopped all treatments. So, but it doesn't say whether or not he's in any sort of pain, or what the neurological condition is.
That's a tough situation.
So, and you're right, Luke. There is always that possibility that he could potentially die in transit to Rome. That is very true. But then there's also that big what if. What if he didn't?
Yeah, it's a level of effort.
What if he makes it? What if he makes it to Rome? What if they get him to the Vatican Hospital? What if those doctors are able to do something that the British doctors were not able to do? That with the British government blocking this, those questions will never get answered.
It's sad all the way around. I really feel bad for the parents, especially.
Oh yeah, like it has to be just I can't even imagine the situation that they're in. And this happened not that long ago. This happened last year, if that, where another couple they had a child on life support, and it was they were trying to get their kid to go to a different hospital. They were trying to bring their kid, I think, to the States to get further treatment, and the British government denied it. And that kid ended up dying.
That's sad because there's so many medical advances. And I can thump my chest and say, fuck it, USA all the way. But there's hospitals worldwide that are more than capable of taking on new patients with interesting situations like Alfie's. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, fine.
Like, at least we tried, though.
Right. Give them a chance to do it. That's just it's frustrating.
Right. But apparently, and then one of the latest things that I had read and seen on this whole thing is that in order to be pretty much granted custody of their kid back and like have their son released to them, the mom and dad have had to like apologize to the doctors and the physicians in the hospital for all the hardship that this has caused them. So, and there's no like guarantee that that'll even allow them to take their kid home.
You start throwing politics into healthcare and shit goes downhill quick.
Yep. So, yeah. So that's our sad story of the night.
Hey, let's liven it up, please.
Right? Yeah, let's do that. So, I don't know. I don't know what do you want to talk about?
You have an upbeat thing? I thought you had like about 3 or so stories, and that was one of them.
So let's see, what else do I have? I've got Chancellor Merkel coming to visit.
Merkel and Macron?
Yeah.
Macron.
I don't know. I don't speak French. I know with the French language, like some letters exist and others don't. But I don't know which ones like that. I don't know which letters fall into what category.
I need to get my daughter here.
Right?
She said like 4 years of Spanish, or 4 years of French.
Right? What letters are pronounced, like which letters do we pronounce? Which ones do we not? Because like the Champs-Élysées, right? I know how to say that without looking at it and reading it. But if you write it on paper for me and I'm like, what are these words that I'm trying to read? And they're like, oh, it's that. And I'm like, there's letters here that I'm supposed to be pronouncing, but you're saying I can't pronounce it.
You mean it's not Champs-Élysées?
Right? Champs-Élysées? No, it's not. It's Sean's somehow, but there's a P in there. So I don't know how you get Sean's from camps. So whatever. Or champs. So yeah, fucking French language. Ugh. Why do they have to be difficult? The worst. They're the worst. Fucking no wonder they always lose wars.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking went there. Anyways, so President Donald Trump welcomed German Chancellor Angela Merkel to the White House on Friday for a visit of less than 3 hours. He greeted Merkel outside the West Wing with a handshake and a kiss on each cheek. A traditional welcome, but far short of the bountiful display of personal warmth that was seen earlier in the week when he played host to French President Emmanuel Macron, or whatever, I don't fucking know, for a lavish 3-day state visit. Trump, in brief remarks alongside Merkel in the Oval Office, called her an extraordinary woman, congratulated her on her recent re-election, and disputed any idea that their rapport was frosty. Quote, "We have a really great relationship. We actually have had a great relationship from the beginning," Trump said. Though her visit will be short on pomp, Merkel's message was similar to Macron's, that America and Europe need to bury the hatchet on key issues, from global trade to international security. In a joint press conference Friday afternoon, it was apparent that despite the back-to-back visits, Trump's divisions with Europe are still substantial. Trump is widely expected to withdraw the U.S. from the Iran nuclear accord next month, despite pleas from Macron earlier this week and Merkel today. Merkel used her meeting with Trump to try to paper over the differences, calling the Obama, quote, a first step toward curtailing and containing Iran's regional ambitions and suggesting openness to a side agreement. Trump has said he was open to negotiations with Iran, but has not said whether he would heed European calls for the U.S. to stay in the deal, which aims to restrict Iran's nuclear efforts while those talks are underway. His decision is expected by 12 May. On trade, Merkel said there was little progress on seeking permanent exemptions for the EU from Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs. Quote, "The decision lies with the president," she said. Trump implicitly scolded Germany for not meeting its defense spending obligations to NATO, saying it is essential that our NATO allies increase their financial contribution to the pact. Merkel said Germany's latest budget will take a defense spending to 1.3% of GDP. She acknowledged that's far short of the 2% goal, but said Germany is still aiming for that over time.
Fuck that. Germany's taken in so many fucking refugees, and so is France.
Right?
I mean, they've got to pay for the outcomes of that and the effort of that. Fuck. I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Well, apparently she wants to.
It just seems like when Emmanuel Macron was it was like the Macron tour of the fucking Americas. They were parading him. He was all over Fox News and CNN and every news outlet. And it's just I think we have their support, but I'm not sure that we have, or that they have our support, because I think they're making a bad decision to continue to go with the Iran nuclear deal.
Mm-hmm.
I say back them into a fucking corner.
All right, fuck
as far as Iran goes. Fuck them. They'll wither on the vine.
Right? Oh, now I want cake, though.
Uranium cake?
No, not uranium cake. My fat ass wants, like, actual cake.
Like a fat ass cake. Okay. Do you have cake?
I don't.
I'll bet you there's someone within 500 yards of you that has cake.
Right? Spanky!
Cake and barbecue.
Spanky, I need cake. I might wander over there after the show. Be like, Spanky, you have cake?
You know, I was.
The girl made cake the other night.
I heard she's a really good baker.
She is.
I was really waiting, like last week, for Spanky to come over to your house and beat you with a broom. I was actually asking her to do that.
Why would you do that?
Because it really makes for good radio.
Does it?
Yeah.
Does it really?
Wouldn't that be awesome if she like busted into your house and she didn't get shot, but then she started fucking swacking you in the head with a straw broom?
It'd be like unnecessary.
That would be funny.
It would be completely unnecessary.
But it would be funny. At your expense, I admit that.
Yeah. So, in the hours before Merkel's arrival at the White House, Trump himself took note of their limited schedule, which was to include a 30-minute Oval Office meeting, followed by a working lunch and joint news conference. Quote, look forward to meeting with Chancellor Angela Merkel of Germany today, Trump tweeted. So much to discuss, so little time. It will be good for both of our great countries.
You know, if it was really that important, I think that he would have made time. 3 hours is a very short amount of time for a head of state.
Yeah.
To be here,
I don't know if that's all
was here for a week.
I'm not sure if that's all her schedule would allow, though.
Well, that is true. Macron was here for what a week or more.
3 days.
Was here for 3 days. Yeah. Macron was here for only 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they pimped him out. Good.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, he's brand new. He just got elected, right? And so it's his first time here.
About a year ago, and he's and I even put this in our team chat. He just seems like he's a political opportunist. I mean, you know, a couple of years ago he was a socialist.
Yeah. Well, his wife is the one who pushed him to run for president. His older wife. His wife is a total cougar.
Is she hot?
Nah, I mean, you saw pictures of her. I personally wouldn't do her. Again, she is literally 20 years his senior.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I was like, because he's what, 10 years younger than I am.
Yeah, he's in his 40s, like early 40s, I think. Yeah, and she's in her 60s.
How's that sex?
Probably dry if she's gone through the change.
Whoops.
That's what lube's for.
Well.
Whatever.
Moving on.
So Macron and Trump went to great lengths to display their affection through hearty handshakes, hugs, and at times air kisses. The president had not displayed the same chemistry with Merkel. In their first White House meeting last spring, Trump seemed to ignore photographers' prompts to give Merkel the traditional photo-op handshake. And the German chancellor looked on unhappily when Trump upbraided NATO nations last summer for not spending enough on defense as he stood in NATO's gleaming new Brussels headquarters. This time, the two exchanged a handshake in the Oval Office. Kellyanne Conway, a senior counselor to Trump, said that the president's relationship with Merkel and Macron don't need to be compared. Quote, France and Germany are great allies. I think every leader is different. Every relationship is different, Conway said at the White House. We're very happy that the chancellor is making another trip here. While Macron has been positioning himself as Europe's Trump whisperer and conduit to an American president who seems intent on this article turns different. And conduit to an American president who seems intent on upending U.S. relationships with allies, Merkel maintains her strength as the head of the largest economy in Europe. And if this visit produces a similar lack of bonhomie, for it's quite important domestically not to be seen to be getting too close to Trump, said Takao, a senior fellow at think tank, the German Marshall Fund of the United States. Anti-American sentiment has been growing again in Germany since Trump's election, with mainstream media regularly portraying the U.S. president as a threat to the world. That's not propaganda.
Hello, North Korea.
Right?
How you doing?
Goodness. We're supposed to be fucking allies, Germany. What the fuck?
Kind of wondering if the German media is disconnected from what's really fucking going on, or if it's just another tool.
Right? I don't know.
I'm all for disconnecting from anything mainstream. Read stories, gather facts, draw your own opinion.
Right.
Don't always take it from one source. But it kind of sucks if all the sources are fucked up. But.
Right. It's all right. Germany, just remember we've beaten you twice. Back-to-back world champs.
Let that be a lesson.
Right. Remember the last time we got drunk, Germany?
I was waiting for you to throw out the bitches.
Bitches.
God, it brings me flashbacks to Beer Fest.
Right. Right. Exactly, Joe. Time to go kick Germany's ass again? Probably.
Here, hold my Weissen. Hold my.
So the Macron state visit had been long planned, while Merkel's more informal working visit was added to the schedule, so her trip to Washington would be the first outside Europe since her election victory. So two deadlines are looming. The first is Trump's demand for an overhaul by 12 May of the international nuclear deal with Iran, an agreement that Germany, like France, worked hard to secure and believes should remain in place.
They worked hard to capitulate.
Yes. Although Germany is unlikely to accept a wholesale rewrite of the deal, Berlin has indicated that it is prepared to consider add-ons that would crack down on Tehran's ballistic missile program and curb Iranian efforts to strengthen its strategic role in the Middle East. Earlier this week, Macron made clear that France would not allow the U.S. lead if Trump decides to withdraw from the agreement. Would not follow. There we go. Macron later told French reporters that he has no, quote, inside information on Trump's decision on the Iran deal, but noted that it's clear the U.S. president, quote, is not very much eager to defend it. The second deadline concerns the extension of new U.S. tariffs on foreign-made steel and aluminum, which some fear could trigger a global wave of protectionism that would deeply harm a trading nation such as Germany. Though German officials have signaled that their goal for the visit are modest, Berlin last week announced plans to step up defense spending, a long-standing demand in Washington. While Germany is still likely to miss the goal of devoting 2% of its GDP to defense that's expected of NATO members, the move could be taken as a sign that Berlin has gotten the message. Some German officials have been quietly playing with the idea of buying U.S.-made F-35 jets to replace the country's aging fleet of Tornado planes. The hope is that this would show Berlin's willingness to act on military spending while also improving the U.S. trade balance with Germany.
That's interesting. Military spending being brought into economic issues. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, the United States is going to pimp out the F-35.
Yeah.
Because, that's an expensive ass fucking plane. It's badass, but it's damn expensive.
It is very expensive.
I mean, is Israel in the same boat, or are they going to stay with F-16s? F-16s. Israel just bought a shit ton of F-16s from Lockheed Martin. So, I mean, I guess you got to pimp out your product. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It just seemed like the visit with Merkel was different than Macron.
Oh, definitely.
It seemed a lot colder, maybe because of its briefness, but it's just, I don't think Trump and Merkel there's no bond there.
No, there's not.
I think with Macron and Trump, it was more like a hey bro type thing. Go out and have a beer and talk about some stuff and do your thing. That meeting with Merkel just seemed like it was staged and not authentic at all.
Yeah. I definitely think she came here to get a feel on what he was going to do as far as the Iran nuclear deal.
Right. And even Macron said, I have a feeling, and this is a quote, he said he had a feeling that that Trump was going to pull out.
Yeah. Which he said he's going to, because,
Yeah.
you know, again, it's a bad deal for us. And he, if anything, President Trump has been super consistent about making sure any deals that this country is in are fair for our country. And now that he's president, he's able to actually get an inside look at everything that goes into these trade deals.
I'm thinking that no matter where you go in the world, the United States as a whole, and I'm speaking about, and this is my opinion only, Trump is the president speaking on behalf of the American people. We have the upper hand in many, many areas. I really don't think that we're the underdog in any areas.
Yeah.
So you have a very strong point of negotiation with any country. It doesn't matter who it is. What I like about President Trump is he follows up his words with actions. Mm-hmm. If he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. The thing is, as far as a nation state like Iran, there are so many folks that just kind of fold and will just behind the scenes just go, yeah, I know what, we're all a part of the NATO, but we're gonna give you some money or give you something under the table. It's just, I don't know, man. It's really hard. As a nation of the United States, we have a lot of bargaining power, but since we're in these unions like NATO and others, it seems like we're getting underbid.
Yeah. So, and I think that has really been a huge motivation factor for President Trump. And it's getting the U.S. back on top. He doesn't fucking care about any other country. He's literally all about putting America first.
It's been working so far.
Right?
We can get steel and aluminum back in the United States. Mm-hmm. The production of. How great would it be to see Pittsburgh come back as the steel city again?
Right? And Detroit.
Have Detroit fucking make some cars in Detroit. Michigan is a great state, but it's been fucking ruined and decimated because of other deals, politics.
Yep. So, but yeah.
I'm not a politician. I'm an observer.
Right, same here. I'm not a politician. I just report shit. You guys decide.
There's things that are a good idea and things that seem like a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. But, and with people who have a better understanding of everything that goes on into a trade deal, if they are saying, hey, this is not a good deal for us, maybe there's a reason why. And maybe they have the knowledge and the understanding to see that it's not good for us and are like, hey, we need to not be in it. And I think that's why President Trump is like, no, we need to get the fuck out of this deal because we're getting screwed.
A lot of it's being, even our membership in NATO, and you're talking about 2% of Germany's GDP. What's 2% of the United States of America GDP?
I don't know. A lot.
And do we give that? Do we give more?
I think we give more. I think
I'm pretty sure I would
4%.
I would be comfortable saying that we give more.
So
if everyone's not on board, then the ship is not going to sail.
Yeah, and I think Trump actually threatened to leave NATO over that. Last year when he went to the NATO summit in Brussels. And when he was like, oh, this is a pretty building, but what else are we doing with this fucking money that's coming in? Like, congratulations on your new fucking building, But really? This is what you've done with your money?
It's glorious.
Which I don't think anyone in Europe really took very kindly to. Which I don't fucking care. Like Americans, especially Germans. Like Germans are blunt people, right? They don't care. They'll just fucking come right out and tell you whatever is on their mind, and they don't care how you take it.
Dude, in the German language, and you were talking about languages earlier during the break. A German can tell you that they love you and they worship the ground that you walk on, but it would sound like they're fucking bitching you out.
Yes.
It's just an angry sounding language.
God, why are you yelling at me?
God.
But yeah, no. So I don't understand why everyone, especially in Europe, are getting their fucking panties in a bunch over Trump being a blunt and right to the point of, hey, this is a stupid building. But and he's calling them out for their shit. Like, hey, why is it that we're footing this bill when you guys are also in this? Like, we should not be paying the majority of the funds here. Y'all need to pay your fair share. And I don't think these other countries are liking the fact that he is holding them accountable for their fair share of something. And I think that's what their biggest issue is. It's that, the past administrations have always let these things slide because, that's how it's always been done. But now we have someone who is a businessman, who is not a politician, who comes in and is like, no, motherfuckers, you're going to be held accountable. You're going to pay your fair share. And I don't think they were ready for that.
It's kind of like having a teenager in the house, and then it's time to, it's time to be an adult. Mm-hmm. Time to take care of your own. Support yourself.
Yep.
Make your own way.
So it'll be very, very interesting to see what happens as time goes on. So we'll see.
It's going to be a long 8 years for people who hate Trump.
Right? He keeps winning.
Without winning, he's winning.
Right? Oh, my God. Oh, I saw something today. A friend of mine posted something on their own Facebook, and it was like, there was no such thing as terrorism until, the Western civilization started meddling in the Middle East. Like, think about that for a second. Like, the Muslim people were peaceful until the Westerners started meddling in the Middle East. And I was like, hold up. So I had to comment. I was like, the Hindus in India would beg to differ.
Right?
Because they've been warring with them since ever.
The birth of time.
Yeah, but whatever you want to believe. But whatever. I think they took their post down.
I've never removed a post.
Yeah. Because that's
if I'm fucking wrong, I'll admit it and I'll take my lumps and great. But fuck, I've never been so embarrassed by something I've said, if it was rash or whatever. Oh my gosh, I got to take it down. Mm-hmm. Fucking believe in something, stand for something.
Right. And it was like,
if it's wrong, if it's wrong and you get proven wrong, then okay, great. I have been corrected. Awesome.
I was like, yeah, this is wrong. So this is wrong.
You know what's not wrong? Our lineup for the week.
Oh, you want to go through it?
Yeah. No, I don't have it. I was just going to announce our shows for the week.
Yeah, you do that, and then I'll read our upcoming guests.
Hell yes. Let's fucking do this. We have shows 6 nights a week. Mm-hmm. All of our shows start at 2000 hours Eastern. Eastern.
Yes.
Tonight is Friday, and you're experiencing Friday Night Freedom with Minx. Usually Pookie's here. I don't know where he's at. I think he's barbecuing somewhere. On Saturday nights, you have Pookie and Jay Ready doing Saturday Night Savagery. On Sunday nights, you're going to have me with my my fine-feathered co-host, Owl. On Monday nights, you're going to have the Monday edition with Ice. On Tuesdays, you're going to have Tied Up Tuesdays with Minx and Gray Cloud. Always a good show. I wish we can get him back on cam.
Right? I don't know. Okay, so I don't even know what happened this last Tuesday. Like, he just couldn't hear me. So he had to go over to, the other one that doesn't have.
Right. I'm thinking that's a Gray Cloud setting.
I think so, too.
Wednesdays it's our Donza on our radio page, but you can catch WTF Nation Gaming. Either KJ or Hodor is going to be doing some gaming stuff. We were playing Battlefield 4 this last Wednesday. It was a good time. Yeah. Thursday, Sergeant's time. Fucking form it up. Ice is going to be fucking dropping some knowledge on your heads, and then we're back to Friday with Friday Night Freedom with our lovely, beautiful red highlighted hair. Thanks.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I was like, who the fuck is he talking about?
I'm talking about you. I mean, with the red highlights and stuff.
No.
Nice.
I'm thinking about going purple here soon.
Purple would be nice.
Once the red
Blue.
gets out. So we'll see. It's the best part about being a civilian. Again, is I can fucking put colors.
The video just caught up. That was really great.
Oh, good. Right as I look around like, who, me? No. But all right, you guys. So our upcoming guests tomorrow night, we've got Dave Champion. Dave was born in Southern California and was a wild teenager during the sex, drugs, and rock and roll days of the late 70s. He joined the U.S. Army and became an airborne ranger. After leaving the Army, Dave returned to SoCal and engaged in a number of careers, including law enforcement, the corporate world, and high-tech industry. Dave is also a public speaker and teacher, having given speeches on numerous subjects, including income tax, the right to keep and bear arms, the 14th and the 16th Amendment. So that is tomorrow. Monday, we have Chad Garland. So Chad Garland writes for Stars and Stripes, and he covers Afghanistan. Chad is a veteran of the Marine Corps, and he has reported on business, politics, justice, and national security for newspapers in California and newswires in Oregon and D.C. prior to joining Stars and Stripes. He holds degrees from the University of Illinois and Arizona State University. And then on Tuesday, we've got Jessica Scott. Jessica Scott is an Iraq war veteran and an active duty Army officer and a USA Today best-selling author of novels set in the heart of America's Army. She's the mother of 2 daughters, 3 cats, and 3 dogs, and wife to a retired NCO.
I think that's really cool that she includes her animals as her family members.
Hell yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah.
She holds a PhD in psychology from Duke University, and she's been featured as one of Esquire magazine's Americans of the Year for 2012. Jessica is also an active member of the Military Writers Guild. So those are our upcoming guests, and that's our show. So thank you, everyone, so much for joining us tonight. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Have a safe weekend. And thanks for coming to hang out with us. Go see Infinity Wars. Yeah.
After your diatribe of how all of that family sticks together, I'm going to go see it.
Okay, good. You have to.
I need to.
You do. You absolutely need to. But, all right, y'all. That's our show. We'll see you here tomorrow with Jay Reddy and Pookie and Dave Champion. Bye.
Shots!
Here take this photograph, tell me what it is you see when you look at me. Deep into the photography, I don't really need your sympathy, just tell me your thoughts. Have I got what they got, and is it a plot done for naught? Am I not like you because I do what I do? Who knew that I could lose a few of you cause I bleed blue? But it's true, I know cause I see it every day as I work and I sleep the day away. Like you I have pain and like you I have fear. Can I pay all of the bills and still make it through the year? Will I make it home alive? Should I pray to the sky every day and every night? Will I hold you by my side? But in the public eye, I don't even have a heart. A robot of the system moving only when I'm told to start. Rip apart my art, I'm strong like a flower blooming. You got it all wrong, I know I'm breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
Call me a vet like a soldier. Green beret, 21 gun salute, don't wanna see the day. In a constant war zone, in the home of the brave, where they hate the police until they saving the day. I got kids like you, a mortgage like you, so blue lives matter, and so does yours too. All this separation and divide, open your eyes. If you cut us all open, we the same inside. The only difference is I run to the gunfight. Your peace when it's chaos, when the people don't act right. But I'm under scrutiny for trying to protect me. You pull a pistol and I'm shooting for trying to contest me. I got a quick second to make a deadly decision. The media betrayed me like a kid for a living, like I'm cold with no heart, a brain with no thoughts, a body with no feeling, a life with no cause.
Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. I'm damned if I do, and damned if I don't. It's like every single time I say what's on my mind, they go for my throat, they spew evil words. If you are absurd, always grinding, grinning, and killing my soul with these verbs. Hold me down, like I can't gasp for air. I'm closed inside of a box, like I'm inside Fort Knox. Every time that I'm there, I don't know why they think that I'm different from you. All that's true is I'm a like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.